Here's a shocking truth that might change everything we thought we knew about Alzheimer's disease. Your nose could be sending you the first warning signals years before your memory starts to fade. And scientists have just cracked the code on why this happens. For years, medical experts have noticed that people who eventually develop Alzheimer's often lose their ability to smell things properly long before they show any signs of memory problems. But here's where it gets controversial. The culprit isn't actually located where most researchers were looking. While everyone was focusing on the nose and the immediate smell processing areas of the brain, the real problem was hiding in a completely different brain region that most people have never even heard of. Researchers from Germany's DZNE, German Center for Neurodegenerative Diseases, and Ludwig Maximilians University München have just published groundbreaking findings that turn our understanding of early Alzheimer's symptoms upside down. Their discovery centers around a tiny but mighty brain structure called the locus coeruleus. And this is the part most people miss when they think about how Alzheimer's develops. Dr. Lars Pager, who led this revolutionary study, puts it simply. The locus coeruleus acts like the brain's control center for multiple vital functions. It manages blood flow throughout the brain, controls our sleep-wake patterns, and fine-tunes how we process sensory information, including our ability to detect and identify different smells. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Instead of studying brains that were already severely damaged by Alzheimer's, these scientists decided to investigate what happens in the very earliest stages of the disease, long before massive brain cell death occurs. They used specially designed laboratory mice that showed early Alzheimer's-like changes, including the infamous amyloid beta protein buildup and overactive brain cells, but hadn't yet reached the devastating later stages of the disease. Using an incredibly sophisticated 3D brain mapping technology called iDisco+, the research team could literally see inside the living brain and trace the intricate networks connecting different regions. What they discovered was nothing short of remarkable. The locus coeruleus wasn't dying, but its long thread-like extensions, called axons, that reach out to the smell processing center, were systematically being destroyed. Think of it like this. Imagine the locus coeruleus as a central telephone station, and its axons as telephone cables stretching out to different neighborhoods in the brain. The telephone station itself was working fine, but the cables connecting it to the smell neighborhood were being cut one by one. These cables don't actually carry smell information themselves. Instead, they release a crucial chemical messenger called noradrenaline that helps the brain properly tune into and process smells. The plot thickens when we look at exactly how these connections were being severed. The researchers found that these damaged axons were displaying abnormal amounts of a molecule called phosphatidylserine on their outer surface. Now, here's the crucial part that reads like a biological thriller. Phosphatidylserine acts as a molecular eat-me flag that attracts the brain's cleanup crew, specialized immune cells called microglia. Pager explains this cellular drama. When phosphatidylserine appears on the outside of a cell membrane, it's essentially sending out a distress signal that says, "I'm damaged or unnecessary. Please remove me." Normally, this process helps the brain eliminate faulty connections and maintain healthy neural networks through something called synaptic pruning. But in our Alzheimer's mice, we believe the constant overactivity of neurons due to the disease is triggering this eat-me signal inappropriately. And this is where the controversy really heats up. Are these microglia actually helping by trying to clean up what they perceive as damaged tissue? Or are they mistakenly destroying healthy but stressed neural connections? This raises profound questions about whether we should be trying to stop this immune response or redirect it more precisely. The behavioral tests confirmed what the brain scans suggested. Mice that had lost these crucial connections between the locus coeruleus and the smell processing center performed much worse on odor detection and discrimination tasks. They couldn't tell different scents apart as well, and they were less sensitive to detecting odors in the first place. But here's what makes this research truly groundbreaking. The scientists didn't stop with laboratory mice. They examined actual brain tissue from people who had died with Alzheimer's disease and found remarkably similar patterns of axon destruction and microglial activity in the same brain regions. Even more compelling, when they analyzed PET brain scans from living people with very early Alzheimer's or mild cognitive impairment, they discovered the same disruptions in the pathway connecting the locus coeruleus to smell processing areas. This discovery opens up a world of possibilities that could revolutionize how we detect and potentially prevent Alzheimer's disease. Instead of waiting for memory problems to appear, by which time significant brain damage may already be irreversible, doctors might be able to use simple smell tests as early screening tools. Imagine walking into your doctor's office for a routine checkup and taking a quick sniff test. That could predict your Alzheimer's risk decades before traditional symptoms appear. Joachim Herms, another key researcher on the team, emphasizes the paradigm-shifting nature of these findings. For a long time, we've known that smell problems occur in Alzheimer's disease, and we suspected the associated nerve damage was somehow involved. However, the underlying causes remained a mystery. Our research now points to a specific immunological mechanism as the driving force behind these dysfunctions, and critically, shows that these processes begin in the very earliest stages of Alzheimer's development. The implications for treatment are equally exciting and controversial. Current Alzheimer's therapies, including the recently approved amyloid beta antibodies, work best when started as early as possible, before extensive brain cell death occurs. This new research suggests we might be able to identify at-risk individuals and begin treatment years or even decades before cognitive symptoms appear. Herms envisions a future where this research transforms medical practice. Our findings could pave the way for identifying patients at risk of developing Alzheimer's much earlier than ever before, allowing for comprehensive diagnostic testing to confirm the diagnosis before any cognitive problems become apparent. This would enable doctors to start treatment with amyloid beta antibodies much sooner, dramatically increasing the likelihood of a positive response and potentially preventing the disease from progressing. But here's the controversial question that this research raises. If we can detect Alzheimer's risk decades before symptoms appear, what are the psychological, social, and ethical implications? Would you want to know if you're likely to develop Alzheimer's in 20 years, even if we don't yet have perfect treatments? And should insurance companies or employers have access to this information? Moreover, this research challenges our fundamental understanding of how neurodegenerative diseases progress. If the immune system is mistakenly attacking stressed but potentially salvageable neural connections, should we be developing therapies that modulate this immune response rather than simply trying to remove amyloid beta plaques? The study, published in the prestigious journal Nature Communications, represents a major leap forward in our understanding of Alzheimer's disease progression. But it also opens up as many questions as it answers about the complex interplay between brain inflammation, neural stress, and cognitive decline. What do you think about the possibility of predicting Alzheimer's risk through smell tests decades before symptoms appear? Would the knowledge be empowering or anxiety-provoking? And should we be questioning whether the brain's immune response in early Alzheimer's is a misguided attempt at protection rather than a purely destructive process? Share your thoughts. This research could fundamentally change how we approach one of the most feared diseases of our time.